Hey guys, welcome back for another video. It's me, Winchwood. Today we are going to be starting on chapter 3 in the additional investigation in this video of Case 24, Anatomy of a Murder. So let's get straight into it. Well, I stayed up all night to finish Wilfred's book, and oh boy, what an ending. But here's the crazy part. Because of the book, for once I think I found a way to solve this case. In the book, the villain taxidermies his victims alive, just like what happened to Wilfred. And you know how they catch the killer? It's thanks to the museum curator, who on page 198 gives them a vital piece of information about how the victims got taxidermied. Yes, I know this is real life, Will, but still, what do we have to lose by talking to Cornelia? Please? And you're right, we should also finish things up at the abandoned garden before it starts to rain. Good job, Will. Look at the shirt you found. It has the owner's initials embroidered on its pockets. WT. You're right, this shirt belonged to Wilfred Turnscrew. The killer must have left it here when they dressed him up for the exhibit. There seems to be some kind of marking on the shirt, but do you think you can recover it so we can see it more clearly? And about this broken box, would you mind piecing it back together? Believe me, Lieutenant Will, if I had any more information about this grisly murder, I'd tell you. Are you absolutely positive you didn't notice anything more? Any extra details can help us solve this case? I have nothing. It was all just so unexpected. Museums are meant to be a place of common respect, not of such savagery. I'm a mess. All this stress is giving me such a bad heartburn. It even stopped me from going to see my favorite play. What shocks me most is that I received calls from art collectors and museums wanting to buy the victim for their own collections. Can you believe it? Well, the killer definitely got the attention they wanted, that's for sure. That's true, Will. As the museum's curator, Cornelia is naturally great at selling stuff and animals back together. And I admit it was silly of me trusting a book to solve this case. But since we're already here, what do you say we search the place? Good job, Will. Huh? A knife right next to where we found our victim's body? Where are the odds? I agree. If you could use your magic to decipher the knife's serial number, we might be able to trace its owner. And if we trace its owner, maybe it'll kindly explain to us what this knife was doing on the crime scene. Nicely done, Will. So that broken box you pieced together from the abandoned garden is in fact a... What is this? It's a diorama? Oh, okay, thanks for the info. To me, it's just mice dressed like people. The label on it says it's a scene from Hamlet, and there's even the name of the person who made it, Stanley Turnscrew. So Stanley dabbles in theater themed taxidermy, and this also proves he was on the scene of the murder. I think it's time we went to talk to him, don't you, Will? You're right, Will. The symbol you recovered from the victim sure does look like it comes from the museum badge. But how can you be so sure that it wasn't the victim who was wearing the museum badge? Let me get this straight. First of all, these badges are cheaply made and their ink has a tendency to rub off easily. So far, okay. Then you pointed out the symbol on the shirt was backwards. And it's true, we know for a fact that the killer had to lean over the victim for long periods of time during the taxidermy process. Ah, now I get it. From that, you deduced that the friction from the close contact made the badge's ink bleed backwards onto the victim's shirt. And that's how you found out that it's our killer who's wearing a museum badge. You're a genius, Will. Good job, Will. Now let's send the serial number from the knife you found in the museum over to Alex for him to trace. Oh, you prepared my precious diorama. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Will. You could thank us by explaining what your diorama was doing in that abandoned garden, which so happens to be where the murder took place. I asked my brother to meet me there to propose turning that place into a gift shop themed around his book and my art. I make all these beautiful mice dioramas, and I do everything. I even sew their clothes. I know I could sell them for a lot of money. But Wilfred disagreed. He mocked me and called me a loser. I lost my temper and threw this diorama at him, but now look who's laughing.
So I ran that serial number from the knife you found on the crime scene through the database. But before I tell you who it belongs to, let me first tell you that Grace checked the knife out and found faint traces of blood on it. Blood belonging to your victim. So this knife is our murder weapon? Yep, and according to the serial number you gave me, this knife belongs to James Savage. Well, since the murder weapon belongs to James Savage, this is more than enough to detain him. Let's go get him. James, you're being placed under detention as the chief suspect in the killing of Wilfred Turnscrew. That's insane. I'm not your killer. A skidding knife of yours, the one Wilfred was murdered with, suggests otherwise. I lost that knife a few days back. Look, I admit that I beat up Wilfred. He taunted me. He said he was going to buy out the force, and I just started hitting him. He was in bad shape, and I should have probably taken him to the doctors, but when I left him, he was alive. I didn't kill him. Well, we still got 24 hours to prove that you did. In the meantime, enjoy your stay in the cell. James Savage is asking for some heartburn medication. Is it alright if I go get him some? Even after all this, you're still uncertain he's our killer, Will? Very well, let's keep up the investigation. Consider James innocent until proven guilty. Ah, Lieutenant Will. Officer Jones, I just baked a fresh batch of cookies. They're still warm. Thank you, Margaret, but you shouldn't have come all this way just to give us cookies. Oh, I didn't come here just to give you cookies. I also came here to give you a quite possibly vital piece of your investigation. You see, I often tour the museum with my trusty metal detector. This time around, I didn't find many coins, but I did find a sewing needle. Given that our taxidermy victim got sewed up, it might be of interest to us. So thank you, Margaret. However, this needle is too small for us to do anything with. It's a job for Grace's bionic microscope. I promise you I'm not giving the job to someone else, just so I can eat cookies, Will. Oh, Jones. Oh my goodness. Big hungry. I analyzed that needle Margaret got from the museum, and I found skin particles from the victim from when the needle threaded through his skin. But I also found skin particles from your killer from where they pricked themselves on it. Often happens with sewing unless you have a thimble handy. The sample got corroded by the needle's metal, so I couldn't extrapolate as much as I wanted from it. But I can tell you, your killer has green eyes. Thanks, Grace. Well, Will, we got everything we need to go arrest our green-eyed killer. The question is, are you ready? Yep. Cornelia Trent, we're placing you under arrest for the murder of Wilfred Turnscrew. What? But that's impossible. Why would you even think that? Impossible. That's what I thought at first until I heard Lieutenant Will's brilliant deduction. Here, I will repeat it for you. See, at first I was convinced that James had brutally murdered Wilfred Turnscrew. He had a strong motive, and people here are afraid of him. Furthermore, the autopsy showed that Wilfred was taxidermied while unconscious, and James admitted to beating Wilfred into unconsciousness, so it all pointed to him. But that's when Will put it all together and realized that you must have witnessed the whole event, and when James left, took the opportunity to kill Wilfred. All the evidence leads to that conclusion, Cornelia. The question is why you did it, but we'll let you keep that story for the judge. No, you're wrong. You're lying. You can't do this. I'm tired of repeating myself. I didn't commit any crime. I'm innocent. Cornelia Trent, Lieutenant Will has presented more than enough evidence that incriminates you. Fine, I admit it, but I had no choice. People stopped coming to the museum because they were only interested in those stupid crime scenes from Wilfred's book. Without visitors, I had to sell these silly badges to keep the museum alive. Do you know how humiliating that is? And since my brilliant murder, visitors can't stop coming. It has breathed new life into my museum. They find it exciting once again. It shocks and saddens me that you think the taking of a life can be justified by this. Miss Trent, you savagely murdered a complete stranger. I mean, who had done you no wrong, and for that, you're hereby sentenced to life imprisonment. I can't believe Cornelia actually thought that by killing a man, she could save the museum. I'll never understand people like that. And that's why I made the mistake of looking for the suspect with the strongest murder motive. But you saw right through it and realized the truth. This is why you're so great at your job, Lieutenant Will. I don't know about you, Will, but I'm happy to close this case. It was really unsettling. I feel bad for James Savage. He was furious when he left the station. I owe him an apology for arresting him as a murderer. We should find him. And well, do you mind stopping by the taxidermist shop? I want to talk to Mortimer Mootlog. I'm sure he'll advise me something to go with my new clock. Lieutenant Will, I'm glad I found you. Ramirez, what's going on? Stanley Turnscrew has a problem. He came to see you, Lieutenant Will. He looks distressed. You should hurry up. Lieutenant Will, I need your help. I think I did something really stupid. I broke a sculpture. I was visiting the museum and the sculpture was there, but I tripped and fell on it. When I got back on my feet, the sculpture was broken. I was trying to hide the pieces when the security came, and I was so afraid they'd arrest me, I ran away. I can't even remember where I put the sculpture pieces in my panic. Please, I heard you're very talented when it comes to repairing stuff. Can you help me? Alright, don't worry. Lieutenant Will find those pieces quickly if you're telling the truth. We'll go to the museum to find out. Hello, Mr. Mootlog. I need your advice. I recently acquired a rare deer clock, and I'm looking for items to decorate my room along with it. It's been a while since I had such a request. How about another animal head to hang on your walls? I don't know. I don't want their heads on my walls. Oh, well, in this case, the only thing that would fit with a deer clock would be this bear fur. I turned it into a rug. I'm sure it will be perfect. A bear rug. Awesome. It would make my room look like a castle room. Perfect, but its ears fell off. I was on the verge of sewing it back, but I lost my thimble. I can't sew without it. Could you find it? It should be somewhere in the shop. You dare to come back here, Lieutenant? What do you want this time? Am I supposed to be a murderer again? Actually, we came all the way here to apologize. We were wrong about you. It's a good thing Lieutenant Will was there to prove your innocence. Apologize? That's easy for you to say. You're the one who's been accused of murder. If you're willing to make amends, you should help me. Look, my husky is sick, and I doubt the sickness is natural. I say my dog ate something really bad. A smaller one could have died. I need to figure out what he ate. Could you search the abandoned garden while I take care of my dog? We pass by this place daily, and it's full of litters. Well done, Will. Those marble chunks might belong to the sculpture Stanley broke up. Now the real question is, do you think you can put it back together? You're right, Will. We should look into this sewing basket. After all, it's the perfect place for a thimble. I bet this is the dish James Husky ate from. It's empty, but I'm sure an ace like you would manage to find traces of what was in it, Will. Impressive. This sculpture is very ancient, but you still managed to build it from all those pieces. Even an expert wouldn't notice it was broken. Stanley Turnsker will be relieved. Let's go tell him the good news. We found the thimble. Now Mortimer can fix this rug for me. Thanks to your skills, we now have enough sample of whatever was in this dog dish. But Grace will be happy to help a dog. I heard she's eager to see the dog pageant. Let's give her the sample. Lieutenant Will, I can't believe you repaired the statue. I've been told the museum withdrew the complaint. Of course, Lieutenant Will is the best. Finding the sculpture parts and restoring it was the piece of cake. You're amazing, Lieutenant Will. Thank you. You're better than any of the characters in my brother's stories. Hey, I got an idea. Maybe I could write my own books now that my brother's dead. Here's your thimble, Mr. Mutlock. I hope you'll be able to sew the ear back. Ah, thank you. Don't worry. Now that I have my thimble, it's a matter of minutes. You will have my rug fixed in a short while. Perfect. Now, with this bear and my clock, I only need a fireplace. And then my room will look like a royal bedroom. How about you, Lieutenant Will? Are you sure you don't want to buy anything? You know, I made a set of clothes with pieces that couldn't be taxidermied, and I won't sell them. You can take them as a token of my gratitude. Oh.
Well, it's a good thing you brought the sample from the dog dish to me. The blue residues are rodenticide residues. It's a rat poison. No smell, no taste. Even a dog can be fooled, especially when it's mixed with dog food, as was the sample you gave me. Someone deliberately put rat poison into dog food in a place where a lot of dogs go. This is barbaric. The dog who ate the substance you found must be really sick. You should give it this antidote quickly. You're right, we have to go back to James Savage's house quickly and cure his dog. It's horrible, Lieutenant Will. My dog is agonizing. Please tell me you found something. Actually, someone put rat poison mixed with dog food in the dog dish we found in the junkyard garden. But it's going to be okay. We have the antidote to counter the poison. Rat poison is terrible. I have to give this antidote to my dog right now. A few days later at the police station. Hello, Lieutenant Will. I came in to apologize. I was wrong about you. You saved my best friend. I should have been more careful. The weeks before the dog patching are always a mess. You know, weird stuff happens. Everyone suddenly seems on edge. The dog patching. I don't see how this harmless event could be related to the rat poison, but thank you. James, it's good to know your husky is better. I'm the one who should be thanking you again, Lieutenant Will. At least let me cook you lunch. The real fresh steaks I cook are way better than the crap you find in supermarkets, I guarantee. And guys, that is it for this video and for this case. We're gonna be moving on to case 25 here in the next video. So I'll see you guys next time.